Welcome to the Select Board meeting for Monday, October 27th. Call to order at 6:40 p.m. First item, review of the snowplow policy draft, second read. Glenn, you want to come up? Or please come up either way. I said, or please come up either way. Did you have anything?
I was just waiting for Glenn to get settled.
I'm good.
Okay.
You ready? Okay.
Yep.
Now my comments are very brief. So the redlined items seem to have captured what we talked about at our last meeting. One question that I had, and I don't know if it needs to appear in the policy, but when it's mentioned that the operators will keep a log in their vehicles and keep it up to date, is that, do we have a template or something that we're going to use, or?
So I think we could find something off that, like truck drivers have to use. It's a daily log, it's an hour log. We actually started looking into, it was a couple of years ago, something, not for this particular reason, but for the trucks. And I believe we found a couple of vendors that we can get something similar to what will work for this.
And that's a manual or an
Yeah.
electronic log?
Yeah, no, it's a manual. It stays in each truck for that particular driver. The driver's responsible for it.
I didn't see anything else that was of concern to me at this time.
Nothing came up in between from you guys, right, so far? Okay. All right, we'll bring it back for a third read on the 10th, most likely.
Thank you.
While you're up there. Why don't we jump down to discussion regarding the Fairleigh Bridge project, number 12. Is that Phil here as well?
Yep.
Phil, would you mind joining us as well? Would you mind joining as well? We're going to talk about the Fairleigh project now.
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear very well back there.
Oh, okay, yeah, the middle and there's a spot there.
Happy to be here.
Welcome.
Phil Delory, Town of Wendell, Chair of the Road Commission.
Welcome. Are you, just for my clarity, are you here as a commissioner or on behalf of the commission tonight?
I'm on the Road Commission for Wendell. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been on the Road Commission for probably 8 years. Been the chair for 6 years. We do a
Okay.
lot of road paving projects. I do some grant writing. We've had a couple of nice bridge projects, not including the current one, that got completed. A lot of with grant money, and so when Brian told me you folks were meeting tonight to discuss the issues that have come up on the bridge, I offered to be here to see if I could help with any of the questions or clear up any misunderstandings, maybe.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure.
So, high level, my understanding, and if you had a chance to read through it all, there's 3 different items that the engineering firm has identified as concerns since Warner Brothers took the decking up.
There are 3 different levels of concerns that the engineers looked at in quite a lot of detail. He also had the state inspection that was done in 2024, the state bridge inspection, and they've detailed, I think it's 60 pages long, you know, every facet of that bridge and everything they could observe during their inspection. So the three inspections, or the three issues that have come up that are concerning, there's three different levels of seriousness. And this whole report from the state, and I won't bore with all the details, but it's got a rating system. You know, some are fair to satisfying, some are poor to fair, and then there's those that are serious concerns. So, and he's actually, I don't know if you've seen the charts that the engineer sent, but essentially he came back with a report that's complete with color diagrams and explanations of each of those. So essentially, what I'm looking at is there's two areas of concern, two specific locations on the bridge that the contractors have uncovered that are deemed serious. And those are the plates, the metal plates that are at the end of the girders, that they're significantly rusted. It's like the steel is delaminating somewhat. It doesn't look good. And you know, I hate to think a whole bridge is sitting on it, but in fact, you're looking at the surface that's rusted. And the state noted these in 2024. Those are the two that are on the serious level. There's 4 that are on the poor to fair level, and those are, they call it spalling. It's you know, the steel I-beams that hold the wooden deck have places where they're rusting enough so that it's bubbling like it. They call that spalling. You know, if it was concrete, you'd have, you know, sort of minor damage, then you go to moderate damage, then you go to serious damage. But with these, it's just they're bubbling, and they're not deemed to be, they're not fair to satisfying or fair to, you know, to good. They're fair to poor. And what they say is that they need to be repaired. There's a specific language in here from their engineer's report that there's a period of like up to 2 years that those could be taken care of. They're not an imminent danger to the bridge. There's also the other issues that are less demanding, painting, you know, ongoing maintenance. And it's I guess the bigger picture, I think, is that, you know, we went into this quickly. We went into it to repair a deck that was in serious trouble. Glenn was instrumental in getting us keyed in on that you could actually look through the deck in places. You couldn't screw the boards down anymore. I mean, you could hear the deck slapping when they drove over it. So we did, I don't know how much of the history you know, but we did a quick grant. We got what we thought was going to cover the deck replacement. It wasn't nearly enough. The estimates came in almost 3 times what we anticipated the cost is going to be. So we had to do the procurement again a second time, get new bids. We raised some money. Erving very graciously chipped in. Wendell found some money, and we added it to the grant money, and we have enough to pull the project off. So this issue that came up with the rust, it's one thing when you have a project, you have to have change orders, things come up and you got to do things a little differently, you got to spend a little more money, and it's all part of the deal doing a big project like this. With this, the contractors felt, and not unreasonably, they felt like this looked serious enough they wanted to stop. They couldn't go any further. And that's a responsible way to deal with something like that. You know, let's get a look at it, get a report from the engineer, get something in writing how to fix it, and they've taken this step. That's what this report's about. I guess we're at the point of trying to, I'm at the point, for sure, I want to see the project done this year, and I'm getting increasingly concerned that the delay with the contractors is that it's dragging on. There doesn't seem to be any energy to, you know, get back in there and start working on it. Even though we've got this report from the engineer who shows us that even by the state standards, that most of the things that they're noticing and they're focused on can be dealt with in the future. They can do a major paint job. We could apply for new funds next year. Major paint and maintenance, take care of those rust problems on the girders. That the one that looks like it would be very practical and sensible to repair immediately as part of this job are those plates, those 2 plates, those 2 spots. The whole bridge is sitting on them. That could be done while the bridge is going on, while the bridge work is going on. You know, they can take they can start working on the deck, they can leave those ends accessible. The engineers offered to forward drawings to the contractor so they can come up with a cost estimate for that. So that would be a change order. Depending on your experience with doing projects like that, to my mind, that's a small change order. That's a reasonable thing. It certainly looks apparent that it should be done, and it would be very practical to get that done before they finish putting the decking over it. So that makes good sense. To me, the other stuff, it doesn't have to be done right now, and it could likely run into a lot more money. And it can be done as part of the future project, if we talk about it that way, a future project of painting and continuing maintenance. So I'm doing a lot of talking here, but I've been involved, and you all have been involved, and certainly Brian and Glenn have been involved. But again, to my mind, you know, the primary focus is get this bridge opened right now, if we can, if it's reasonable. And I think it is reasonable. We can do this quick, not quick, we can do the smaller repair on these plates. They can get the decking on, the bridge can be opened it was only supposed to be a 3 to 4 week project. And here we are, we're entering the second week of no activity, and it hasn't really reached a resolution yet. So, you know, my goal is to do what I can to help this project along. I think Glenn might have a date on it, but I think we met maybe July of '24, you know, and started looking at it. Brian was there, I believe. It really needs to work in order to be functional. I think my request at this point would be to gather the players together and have a sit down and say, let's decide what we're doing and get this project moving. You know, representatives from both towns, the engineer and the contractor all in one room. As of last week, I had sent a letter around after I reviewed the report and suggested that we could go forward, that we could start working on the contractor could start working on the deck. We could look at these repairs during that proceeding. We could make a decision what to do now, what to do later on. We're still at that point. And I'd like to make a suggestion that we do have this type of meeting to kind of come to grips with what's the best course of action.
I would say, first of all, you answered one of my questions, and to me, it would make sense while we have the structure exposed
Yeah.
to do these repairs. I'm not a bridge builder, I'm not an engineer, but if we have it exposed and we're already in flight and we don't have to remobilize crews at a later time at the cost for mobilization, remove whatever decking we're putting down to make the repairs underneath. Just to me, it sounds counterintuitive, and if we have it, we have the opportunity to do it now.
Sure.
I agree with you, I think we should. The question is, how much is it gonna cost us and where are we gonna get the money from?
Well, the engineers suggested that there is a way they could work on, say, the length of the bridge and leave 3 or 4 feet, 6 feet at each end on, you know, without putting the new decking on, while these plans are being analyzed, while the costs are put together, while we come to grips with the idea, this is a $20,000 add-on, this is a $50,000 add-on. Maybe you folks are better off than I am, but I don't keep that much in my pocket. So we need some time to schedule this and be sure we're making the right steps. I was talking to Brian the other day. I'm committed to following this up.
Yeah.
We did rush. I think we felt we had to rush, get that decking repaired. You know, it was that serious. But I'm committed to going at it again for more grant money and to try and see if we can come together with the money to do all the painting and then all the other repairs that would make this a long-term repair. Whereas the deck was immediate. It was like, let's get this thing so it's safe to drive on.
Ask a question. Absolutely. Well, Chair can decide if you can ask a question.
Did you finish what your question was before?
No,
I just don't want to jump around. I want to make sure you complete it before we jump to the next one.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Go ahead.
Has Keith indicated to you when we'll have a price estimate on the repair of the bearing plates?
I'm not sure I got that.
I said, has Keith from Gill Engineering given you an estimate, or at least a timeline of when we'll get the estimate for the cost of the repair to the bearing plates?
He hasn't given me a timeline, but, you know, we could pick up the phone tomorrow morning and then maybe he'll say tomorrow the plans will be on the desk, Ed's desk, and, you know, so they can analyze the cost. He's working on it.
Okay.
You're right, I think that's the point we need to get to. At the same time, you know, I'm maybe being overly optimistic, but I believe that the materials are there, the work crew is there. We've got a contract, let's keep the job going.
So timing on that change order, you know, getting the numbers on the change orders is important. Does that require a review by MassDOT?
I'm sorry,
Does the change order, is it required to be reviewed by the bridge team at MassDOT before we can move forward?
the state DOT has a review process, Keith is the engineer, he has talked about an expedited system or an expedited review. I think these are the details that we could sit down and work out, hopefully. You know, how much can they do while they're waiting for this review? How much can they do while we're waiting for the cost? I mean, can we keep the project moving? If we wait the entire time it takes to do the estimating and the review, it could be 5, 6 weeks, who knows? It could be 2 months, and we're into the middle of winter. If it's a case of the bridge is 90% or whatever amount repaired as far as the decking, and we just do these end pieces at the end, that's a different story. It's a different scenario.
Well, so understood, but then the second change order item is, or concern item is the stringers, and what's a normal thickness on these? Do you know what the standard on
Quarter inch.
a new stringer?
Quarter inch.
Quarter inch?
Yeah.
So we're down like half the thickness now?
Yes.
This
And
place
so,
is,
I mean, I don't know that the review from 24 by the bridge team observed it that thin, and I don't know what their take would be now. If it's thinner, I think it's thinner in a couple spots than in their review a year ago, and I don't know if that's going to cause an issue. And based on where it's highlighted in yellow on the diagram, it looks like that would be mid-deck. So if they're doing deck work in the middle and there's an issue with those stringers in the center, we've just covered them up, and is that going to make it how much more expensive to do stringer work, you know? Because I understand we think we can go 2 years, but again, the bridge team hasn't looked at this. They looked at it a year ago, right? MassDOT.
It was in 24.
Yeah.
So-
The report said May 24.
Correct. So when this was all happening out on the bridge, I was out there with the Warner Brothers crew, Gill Engineering's inspection team that was out there, and they were talking to strategize how to get to these. You know, if the deck was still here, and it's quite a task to build a staging unit underneath a wooden bridge instead of accessing it from the top. Obviously, it's easier from the top. You've created more time, you've created more material to where these repairs will probably be done much simpler and quicker from the upper side of the deck working on the existing structure that's there. And what's not mentioned in any of this is that any steel work that needs to be repaired on that bridge has to be approved by the MassDOT Bridge Inspection Team out of Boston, not District 2. An engineer can replace anything wood on these bridges. As soon as they touch any piece of the steel, they are the only ones that can approve that work on these. So I had kept asking if they can just schedule them to come out and look. We've been a week and a half now with nothing. I think I've asked a few times some different people from Gill Engineering to just get them out so everybody has answers. Nobody can give a price on a repair on this until MassDOT approves whatever an engineer comes up with. their inspection team may, and I'm not taking anything away from Gill Engineering, I'm not a bridge inspector. All I'm hearing is two different ends of the conversation out there of the what ifs and what could be. So I think it's a pretty simple task to contact the bridge department in Boston to get them out there to look at it. I think it'll benefit Gill Engineering, both towns, and you're gonna get a firmer number on any change orders. Instead of continuing putting the wood structure down and then either having to take it back up in sections, as was mentioned in I think Keith's email, they can, temporarily take back up pieces. We're not putting a bridge back together to cover up bad stuff. We're putting a bridge back together to make it a long-term investment for both towns. And I get it, it's an emergency access for Orange. But who's willing to put their name on this bridge if we just cover over these known structural problems by putting the wooden deck back over it? That's the hard time I'm having with it.
I think all good points. I don't disagree. I guess what I'm still at a place where we don't have the information, we don't have the data. So if we could have a meeting, maybe that's the first I've heard that Gill is dragging their feet on getting DOT in there, or that DOT needs to be in there before they actually give the drawings over to the contractor.
It was MassDOT Bridge Inspection Team that told me that personally. They are the only ones that can approve any steel work repairs on this bridge.
Agreed, that they improved the steel work, but I don't know if that includes getting the drawings to the contractor and talking about pricing. But
Not sure.
Well, if they haven't approved the drawings, then how's the contractor going to give us a number? I mean, it's rework again, right? If the bridge team says that's not the right repair or they require a change, now you're going through that cycle again and again. To your point, anything we can do to be expeditious, I think if we're not trying to expedite every step, as concurrent or consecutively as possible, and we have to redo, I think it's the same idea as pulling up boards to redo the work. We don't want to do any rework if we can help it.
I don't disagree with any of that. And I know the contractor was at the inspection date was talking. I wouldn't know how to describe his adjectives, but he was making a big point about what it would be like to build staging underneath the bridge to make these repairs, as opposed to getting at it from the top. So I don't know the answers, and I don't think any of us do.
So
Totally understand. I don't expect you to.
If they went in it from the top and it's cleaning and repainting at this point, if that's what they're talking about doing, maybe that's a quick fix. I don't know that, but I can't go any further in this conversation unless we get the people to sit down at the table and talk about it together.
So that leads me to who needs to facilitate this meeting? How quickly can we get it done? And send out the invitations.
And if towns need to reach out to the bridge team, because I don't know if it's Gill Engineering, I don't know if it's the bridge team at MassDOT isn't being responsive. I don't know where the bottleneck is there. But if we need to make calls down there too, to help kind of get them mobilized out here to get us answers, we can do that. Because I don't think we can all meet and have that discussion without those answers, because we're all kind of in the same boat here, waiting for kind of clarity on what are we asking for, and then how much will it cost, and how could we do that in the timelines we have right now or not, and then make decisions.
So I think I'm hearing you saying you think we should go ahead and get all that work done ahead of time before we have a meeting and discuss what the solution is, or what we want to do at this point?
We need the state bridge inspections team information on this bridge.
I think we need them to weigh in. We may not have it. I feel like the town's getting together and talking about this to make a decision on the path forward is going to be hampered almost completely if we don't at least know what the bridge team thinks. If the bridge team says, okay, we've looked at it and we're generally aligned with what Gill Engineering has for, recommendations and timelines in there, directionally, we know something. Right now, we hope it's right, but if they came back and said, no, it's all 6 months or it's all got to be done now, I mean, we're in a different boat, right? So I think we need to
I understand.
out.
I had not understood that the bridge engineers from the state need to be involved at the preliminary stage of making drawings. And if that's the case, then I'm not sure why they're not involved.
They may not normally, but we want them to do it quickly. We want this quick, so I think the sooner we get them there and they're confirming what we're doing is the right path, the better, right? Because if we have them write up drawings and get a number from the contract, the contractor for a change order, and then submit it, and they come back and say, no, that doesn't work, we're going to be back at the drawing board,
So just let me clarify, Glenn, you've spoken with the state inspectors, and if they,
At a District 2.
and if you asked them, would they come look at it, or they said the people
It's,
from Boston have
it's
to?
not them, it's Boston that has to come look at it, because it's a fractional structural bridge. The only ones that can do it is the team out of Boston.
And that conversation hasn't happened in Boston yet, as far as you know?
I think it's up to Keith to call them, it's his job. But as many times as I've mentioned it to Gil's staff out there, there's 40 different emails back and forth from Keith, and not one of them mentions anything about the state bridge team. And I think they need to weigh in. If they're the ones that's going to have to approve any repairs for the steel, even these bearing plates, then why are they not involved already?
This is new information for me, so I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I'll pursue it myself for sure. Let's get behind it.
I think what you said, we'll figure out who needs to be at the meeting. We'll try to get that time, get something on the calendar, try to get in contact with the bridge team, get clarity if they're coming out, if they're not, what needs to happen, and then if we need to push that date, whatever we've scheduled, because we know we're not ready, fine, but let's
Okay.
do it concurrently so that we're not, we're trying to be expeditious.
And maybe the
That makes
weather will cooperate and we'll have a happy ending.
Need some wood for
I'm
that.
not,
We're gonna figure this out.
So it
We will
just,
figure something out. I mean, we have to.
I'm not wagering on that one.
so just to be clear, the bridge team was not called in any doubts of what Gil engineer, Dave, I believe, is what he found his concerns out on there. They were called to see if they wanted to come back out and re-inspect because of their 24 findings, now that the deck was, easily removable in spots, so they could come out and re-inspect these easier. Because right now, they do them off of ropes and ladders to inspect that bridge.
Over the side, yeah.
Yeah, so they can't use the truck to get a good inspection underneath it. So they were called to see if they wanted to come out and re-inspect while everything was more visible. Not that there was any doubt on what Gil's guys were saying.
So, Warner Brothers called them to see if they'd come look
No,
at
I
it?
did.
You did? And they did not respond?
That's when they said it would have to go through the engineer, and it's the Boston team that would have to be the ones to call.
Oh, because you called District 2.
I called District 2
Okay. And they advised that it had to be
It had
the
to be
Boston
Boston.
team
So-
and Gil has to
because of
call.
the type
Okay.
of structure.
Sounds like we need to motivate Keith to make a call.
Okay, well, it's good we got together here.
For sure. Thanks
Yeah,
for
okay.
joining us. And I think, I don't know if there's any other items. I think that's probably it. That and getting something on the calendar. Who should be at that meeting from Wendell's side?
I'll see if I can get one of the selectmen to come along.
Okay.
We don't have a town planner, but
Understood.
let's start with that.
Okay.
But I will make a point, I'll follow up, and I don't mean to get into what you're already started, but I'll follow up tomorrow and make those calls myself, and see if I can get some information about who is the person that has to see these plans, at what stage.
Is there any, how soon do we want to put something on the calendar tentatively, like next week?
I would go for something next week. I mean, I think
Okay.
we're gonna run out of time if we don't push at it.
I don't want to, we can always delay it if we have to. I don't want to delay it if we
Appreciate it. I'm sure
I'm
everyone
not,
will.
Yeah, I don't know what days.
not gonna rely on Mother Nature.
Yeah, don't count on Mother Nature here. Is Monday work okay for you usually?
Yeah, Monday would
Okay.
be great.
I don't know if Wendell has a meeting on Mondays or not.
I don't know.
The select board. How's your next Monday?
I
No,
have a
right?
conflict, but I can change it.
Well, I think you change it if you can. Or we can look at another night. Probably, I don't know if the 4th is better or. Because Monday's the 3rd, 4th.
It's technically state elections.
Yep.
Would have any-
We don't have any here, but I don't know. I don't know if either is better for you.
I'll make it work.
Do you want to check with the select board and whoever, and then let us know maybe tomorrow or so if Monday or Tuesday
I
is
will get
better?
in touch with Brian tomorrow, and
Okay.
Monday, you're talking about evening, Monday?
Yeah, either the 4th or the 5th. I mean, the 3rd or the 4th, Monday or Tuesday next week.
Okay.
We could do so.
I'd
Probably
be happy
6,
to do that.
6:30, something like that. Earliest we can usually do is about 6. So let us know if either of those work, and then we'll put something
So
on.
we can work out those deals. And by the way, I thank you for moving this up on the agenda.
Oh yeah, I don't want you to sit here all night either.
I was
I
looking
get
at the
it.
agenda and thought I was gonna be camping over, but,
No, I appreciate you coming over. I knew you were coming, and I wasn't. Yeah, so I wanted to
okay.
get you up here and.
So
get you on
good,
your
good
way.
conversation. I appreciate the information, Glenn, all you're
Okay.
doing.
Thank you.
We'll
Sounds
talk
good.
again.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
We have more for you if you want to hang out before you go, I believe. Somewhere on here. There it is. Discussion regarding highway department staffing. If you're ready to switch gears, you've got a pile of gears over there. 'Cause we're good on bridge, right? I assumed we were. Got steps and, okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It's people that would not like all these papers printed off here.
I'm pretending I don't see it.
See what?
There's so much paper around me right
Right.
now. It's like, it's
Right.
okay. It's okay.
So, yes, staffing.
I know I'm
Kurt-
jumping around on you. Thank you.
No,
for
you're fine.
staying with us.
Because of current staffing, work to be done, work that needs to be done, and the work that's coming in the future, I've been pulled away from the staff a lot the last couple of years. Not been actually being able to be out in the field working all the time with them. I think it's time we look to fill another operator's position, for many reasons. Safety is a big concern, as we're talking about with the plow policy, to rotate staff out of different positions, whether it's a roadside mower, whether it's sitting in a piece of equipment, digging swales out, culverts out, and keep rotating people to keep them fresh. I think we've grown for our workload for the need that we could support another. I'd like to be able to support another operator position, operator, truck driver, laborer. At this point right now, financially, we can carry that pretty much through this fiscal year. But come July 1, I'd be looking for a full support, wages and benefits. If we were to find somebody fully licensed, that would be around $30 an hour as a step 3 in PW4, which our range is a 1 to 3 step.
Did you annualize that out roughly? What it is annually?
$63,190 plus benefits.
Call it at the step 3.
Yeah, step 3 is 61,340. And then the fiscal year, if the person now, if we hire now,
Oh,
it would be at that
That's step.
61,340, and come the step and grade, it would be 63,190 at a step 4.
so
20 cents.
next fiscal year.
And
So-
then I know benefits are all over the place right now, so I think you all would probably have a firmer number on benefits, 25-ish, 30,000, somewhere in there for a full benefit. Worst case scenario, family,
25.
So rounding up,
90.
65 of support next year plus benefits, probably 90. This year, you can find it in what you have for funding, except the benefits.
correct.
Okay. So, I mean, we're not quite halfway through, so probably another potentially 15 for benefits this year. full funding next year to make it work, or sustainable. Probably worst case at 90. You started to say something, I think, or we're going to, or?
Yeah, and I lost it. So, one of the things that, it's not what I was thinking, but it was 2 or 3 down the line. With this growth and with the demand on your department, do you have any reference to what the standard staffing would be? Like, I know,
For like our road miles,
yeah, and with, so like I know another department where they came for an ad to staff, they referenced, you know, staffing minimums based on OSHA or other
Mhm.
things, and just,
so with that being said, a couple of years ago, me and another staff member took he's not here anymore. We took a competent person training class, and with that competent person cannot be in a hole. It cannot be a person running a piece of equipment. It's a sole person on the side, running it, overseeing the show. So you take that person out of any manual labor down in a hole, you take them out of a piece of equipment. Now you've only got 2 people that are working, and that's the issue that we're having right now. Our building and grounds maintenance guy has been helping to help with highway projects. Luckily, very, very willing to be. There could come a day where somebody doesn't want to do that because it's not their job description and they just want to stick to their work. So we're very fortunate right now to have a team that's willing to do whatever position is needed. But with that, with OSHA, this competent person, that is a big guideline for them.
And regardless of willingness from building and grounds, there's some impact to
Correct.
buildings and grounds because you're pulling someone.
So what's happening is usually a staff member from the highway side will help him by the end of the week to catch back up on his stuff also. But what that does is it lags the progression of the highway side of the work also. We have a lot of catch basins that the tops need to be rebuilt, top of sewer manholes that need to be rebuilt, swales, culverts. We had the assessment done from the FERCOG a few years ago, and we're slowly chipping away at it. But we need to start catching up on it. So I know that we had talked during the snowplow policy, about the rotating the staff out. I just want to be clear, this will help that, but it's not a cure-all for the staff and to fulfill the whole snowplow policy. This is a year-round position.
Project-wise, I mean, I know we keep doing more and more, and there's more on the horizon, and I know that we've just talked about one, for example. While we're not the lead town, we're still have to partake and be part of, and I know that's you going from job to job, and whether we're doing the work or a contractor and checking on the job sites, our teams, etc., and then calls and administrative work as well. We've got multiple different projects, and now you've got you and Foreman doing that. Now we're down to 2 operators trying to do a task if
Sure.
you guys are trying
If
to
we're
juggle
tied up.
project oversight outside of what they're doing.
Correct.
Pulling in building and grounds, you've got 3, you got 1 who has to be the competent person. I mean, you barely got 2 people who can do the work, and I mean, we just talked about complete street. We're always
Yeah,
talking about
no, I know,
more and
and
more
I'm-
infrastructure projects. When the bridge is coming pretty soon, and Church Street, hopefully.
And that's just highway stuff. That's not overseeing like building projects.
right.
Right. I
You
didn't
know-
bring up that you also have custodial
Correct.
and building and all of those things to oversee too for
And cemetery and
all the
tree warden.
buildings and
And
all
it-
the improvements. And it's just
And if these catch basins aren't being rebuilt and maintained,
Right.
they fail, and then the road gets compromised. And then we're
And
in
there's bigger,
bigger, more expensive problems to deal with.
absolutely, and just just to give you a little quick heads up, I'm gonna be putting forward a capital improvement to rebuild, Ridge Road. Ridge Road is falling apart really bad. So the plan was as us to go in and do all the catch basin work. So I think most engineers, they're charging like $10,000-15,000 a piece to fix a catch basin. There's 9, 10 of them on that road that need to be done. So if we go out there and do that prior to, ahead of them, it saves a ton of money.
How
So-
much of that's
I was gonna say there's 10
There's 10 catch basins at
at
ten to
15
$15,000.
grand a piece.
what materials? Like how much of that is? How much is it if we do it outside of our labor cost?
We probably do them probably for like $600 or $700 a piece outside of
100?
labor. Yes.
I'm sorry. I was figuring you'd say 1,000, but 100.
Yeah. So it's under $1,000 a
I mean,
piece.
you pay for that.
Making my
If you can
decision
do-
easier.
How many catch basins can you do in a year?
Staffing, quite
Apparently
a few.
not many with the current staff, but,
But with one more, can you do 9 or 10? We're done.
so
Half of that? Jesus.
I'm not the world's smartest person,
Second,
but if I
you
do
can strike
quick,
that.
if I do quick math in my head, doing Ridge Road internally with this staff would pay for this position and the savings would realize.
Hmm.
For a year at least.
For the year at least, yeah.
And
And there's a lot of them in town. We've been slowly picking away at them. Staff did 2 of them the other day. We got a detail tomorrow to do another one, and another one on Wednesday on North Street.
how long does it take on average each?
So it depends on who the contractor was in ahead of time, if they concreted the whole metal frame in all the way around,
Okay.
or just enough to lock them in. If it's concreted all the way around, it's a couple hours worth of jackhammering, cleaning up. So typically 6 hours, probably by the time you've got it all cleaned up, readjusted, go to get blacktop, and come back. If they're done half right originally, you can probably do like 3 to 4 of them a
In
day.
a day.
Because they're not secured down with concrete. And that's
So,
typical,
a
that's
couple
some of the
weeks of
reason why
work.
they're failing.
So who
Couple
wants to
weeks of
start a
work will
catch
pay for
basin,
this?
catch basin repair business with me?
What are we gonna charge? 6 grand? 5 grand? If we make a killing. Jeez. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out whether he was seconding your motion or saying you were the second smartest, but I'm still back there.
Second smartest.
People in the gallery that could support my comment. Anyways,
I digress.
So-
Yeah.
I know fiscally we're asking departments
Hmm. That was gonna be start my
To
next
keep-
comment.
very tight grasp on things.
Well, my thought process was, depending on where the board was on this, sounds like the math is pretty straightforward
And say,
on supporting it, not let alone the workload and everything else that we keep lining up and want to see happen, and the savings that gives us. Our next planned meeting was the 10th, is a joint meeting with finance, and so I figured we would bring it back then and have the conversation with them there as well, and hear the same kind of things. And the practicality of this is the work is there, we keep adding more, the savings is there. It's not even a cost, it becomes a savings in a
Right.
very short order.
That's
So
my point. So
I mean, I think it makes sense, although it's going to be challenging to find. I think the overall budget's going to be challenging, and
no, the overall budget's going to be challenging, but if we, to me, this is fiscally prudent. And if we were to just categorically say no because this is the line in the sand we drew, we're being penny wise and pound foolish. This is an opportunity to be fiscally responsible, where spending this money will realize savings. So it's a net win,
Right.
not a loss. That's what I'm
Right.
getting out of this.
and we'll spend less money
In
on
the-
other things
Right.
by doing this. So I agree. And from our budget guidance standpoint, it's bring the justification, just don't embed it in the budget. Well, we're outside the budget cycle, bring the justification and here we are, right? So I think that makes sense to proceed and have that same conversation with finance, and we're able to afford it. If we're able to figure it out with the current budget, that makes it easier if we decide it's the right decision to move forward quickly, and then, you know, just know that as we get in the budget season, it's another variable we've got to. Well, then it would be your base budget, so you'd be putting it in there anyway. It will look like an increase, but we know we all agreed to it, so. Other information that you'd want for next meeting regarding this?
Glenn's got something up his sleeve, a way that we can save more money, and entertain that. But no, I can't think of anything else that I'd be asking for.
If there is, a
I was
quick
going to
phone
say,
call
if
or
at
an
3
email.
o'clock in the morning I wake up and have an aha moment, can I call you tomorrow?
Absolutely. Phone's always on.
This is true. I have called Glenn.
Haven't we all?
Yes.
So carry to the
And-
town. Oh, sorry.
So I'm clear, at least now, and I know we're just kicking off budget, you don't have any of that 90 or that 65 to spare right now in next year's budget that you at the
Not
moment.
if we're gonna continue to keep these projects moving, no.
All I keep hearing is more that are progressing every day. So, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to back off.
Me neither.
Seems like we are asking for and getting and moving on more and more projects that are always involving some infrastructure too. So, I'm going to say no. Expect we're going to have a capital budget next year that are going to have projects like Ridge
Mhm.
Road possibly or whatever. So, on top of the open ones that aren't even done. So, won't be done in this fiscal year. I'm good as well. So, Carrie, for the 10th for the joint meeting, please.
You got it.
Like I say, if any questions come up, don't be afraid to call, and I can get them for the 10th also.
I think though we just heard it, those same things will resonate with finance, and I'm sure you've got more examples than just the the structures, but that alone is plenty, and the regulatory piece and just the ability to actually get work done, right? Can only spread everybody so thin and actually get stuff done, and we need to get stuff done, or it just perpetuates the problem. So, good enough. That reminds me, as we sort out the meeting on the Farley Bridge, we should loop in Finance and Capital if a member or they wish to join us once we get the date. Let them know about it, and they're welcome to as well. So, we have anything else on here for you tonight, Glenn?
Just a one-stop grant application, I believe Glenn has it all set for Church.
Eco
or
one-stop
Bridge
shop.
The
Street.
Eco one. I
Yep.
was like, is that ECO or is that Eco?
Yes.
Environmental, climate, something.
Eco. I guess it does.
Eco, yeah.
It rings true, huh?
Before we jump ahead, can I just,
Yes, you may.
in our packet, to talk about this discussion supporting documentation, had the job description for this. I know we just did this 15 months ago. Is there anything?
No, well, yes, but you just reviewed it 2 months ago for Aiden.
For Aiden.
Right.
So nothing has changed in it, but you'll have it for your packet if that's what you like.
No, I was going to ask you, I know we looked at this recently as well. The date says June 10th of '24, and we revisited it for Aiden, but my
Yeah.
question is there anything you'd like to see adjusted in that before we proceed? And just
Nope.
that,
I'm
I
happy
guess,
with it.
is the 3 a.m. question that I just spared you the morning phone call.
Well, you'll
All
come
right.
up with another one then.
There's only one change and we may want to review that more before we make it anyway, around like first aid and safety training.
Yeah.
That came up that we may want to add to the CPR and first aid
Oh, yes.
further to that line. Again, we may want to do that more broadly than just this position, so we don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to do it at this stage.
Okay.
It's the only
Thank
one
you.
I know of.
All right,
Okay,
thank you for that time.
for sure. Review and discussion regarding potential expression of interest submission for the Eco One Stop grant round. Is everything going to be one stop and we're going to add prefixes now? That's
If it
not
makes
really
the
a question.
application process easier, then sure.
Okay, fine. That's fair. So far, so good on one stop, so we'll take it.
Right. Can we get
Okay.
the high level?
Sure.
So the Eco One Stop, very similar to the Community One Stop, is the state's attempt to take 5 or 7 grant programs, streamline them through one application process. And so very similar to the economic development version that we're familiar with. This starts with an expression of interest. It's a low bar. You describe your project, the costs, share any estimates or plans that you have, and you submit it through the portal. There's probably about a 2 to 3 month review period where the team will review your submission and then give you feedback on your potential project. And they may even guide you towards a more appropriate of the grant programs, which one would be the most advantageous for your type of project. So there were 2 projects that we had in mind. One we've been working on for the last 3 years, and that's for Bridge Street. That's particularly under Glenn's direction, and that has to do with the culvert project. So you'll recall we already did the wall, the retaining wall over POTW number 3 and the reconstruction, all the stormwater management. But what we didn't get to was the culvert replacement, and it is confirmed that that culvert is failing and it is in great need of being replaced. The stream crossing standards make that a very expensive proposition. You'll remember Wheelock Street was quite an expensive culvert project, same concept. The estimate that we have with a contingency of, I think, 10%
Yep.
is $465,000.
Oh.
Right. So I think that's a great candidate for this grant program. When we did it on Wheelock Street, it was just over $300,000, and that was back in 21, 22. So that's the first project that we put in.
It was also a smaller culvert, wasn't it?
It's a different style.
Well, no, because the one of them, the
Oh.
lower one is the
There were
same
2.
as what this will be.
Yeah.
It's not as big as, quite as big as a span. So this span's probably about 15 feet
Yeah.
longer.
Okay.
One update that we haven't shared with you, Maple Avenue also has a culvert. We were anticipating both need to be replaced. That has been inspected, it's been cleaned, it does not need to be replaced.
Oh,
It's sufficient.
so Route 2 Maple Ave Bridge, we just have to do the bridge portion?
Bridge, and then on Maple, we still have the fire pond to deal with.
Yeah.
It's part of the same stream system, but the culvert under Maple Avenue is in good condition.
And the one under Route 2 is Route 2's problem.
Correct.
They will deal with that when they do
When
the
they do that
reconstruction
section,
project.
okay.
Correct. Yep.
All right,
So
so they're
that actually
planning
some good
that, and that's
news.
going to tie in.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we need to do the fire pond at the same time? I know we wanted to, but do we need to? From a
No.
No,
right? Especially if we're not doing Maple Ave culvert.
correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, if you were doing the culvert, it would make sense to do them together, but you no longer need
They're,
to tie
they're
the two.
distinct enough. Mobilizing maybe, but otherwise there's no.
Our plan is to permit them together.
Yep.
Well,
Which means we need to plan to afford them in a reasonably similar timeline.
yes. But this
Okay.
the design and the opinion of probable cost for this project is much easier to put together and is largely already scoped. If you were ready to proceed, then the fire pond needs a little more development. So
So that's one.
I forgot I was supposed to be taking many minutes. At
That's
the same
okay.
time.
Go for it.
Your second project, Maple Avenue, Keep Brook, switch topics. Keep Brook has been a challenge for the town for many years in terms of the retaining walls along the channel, the impact to the infrastructure. We lost the Swamp Road Bridge, and as you've been working on the redesign of the Church Street Bridge, it's been a very present conversation that the overall health of the channel and the impact of that restricted path has on not only our infrastructure but on the adjacent neighbors is of serious concern. So we did an initial grant project with the FERCog Planning Department, I think that was 3 years ago now, got some initial information, and we thought that would serve as a foundation to a follow-up application through Mass DEP. You all supported that work. FERCog applied on our behalf, and we waited 6+ months, and I think it was August that we learned that we did not receive that grant funding. So we've been looking for another opportunity to further pursue the watershed, a study of the watershed, and specific identified priorities for repairing that work, and really grappling with this idea that we don't own the channel. It's a series of private landowners and public property that make up this channel, and so we'd all have to work in concert together to make the necessary repairs. So the MVP program, which we've used in the past, has been very helpful to us, is a potential source for that work. And so working with Kimberly at the FERCog Planning Office, we put together an expression of interest that reflects that work. And if it was viable, that may provide the town with the planning money to work not only with FERCog, but all of our private landowners along the channel to understand what we're dealing with here, start identifying the priority remedies or infrastructure improvements that can be made on both the public and private land, and try to make sense of how did we do this. I don't think this is a project that any of us have even had a small introduction to this many landowners and interests that we'd have to figure out. So there's legal questions, environmental questions. So.
So the question is, do we apply, and if so, which project?
I would say, so
Is that
the question
the
is
question?
yes. The
Okay.
question is,
Not both.
do we,
which?
you can.
Okay.
And there, again, we're not applying at this point in the sense of an actual true
Expression-
application.
Expression of interest. sure.
That's all we're
Be more
doing at this
specific.
point. So it's low stakes. And it could be that they give us feedback that both are viable projects, and they both could be competitors for the same grant funding. They could identify that one's more appropriate for one funding source while the other is more appropriate for another. We're not sure what they'll give us for feedback. Or they could tell you it's not a competitive application and they would discourage your application. I mean, we could get anything in between.
So, to me, it doesn't hurt to ask.
No, unless they say yes and we run out of capacity for projects, which we were
Well,
just discussing a
If we
minute
run,
ago.
if we
But
run
other
out
than
of, if we
that,
run out of capacity for projects,
it's a really big structure. It's called the culvert end of the road instead.
is
No,
there a,
it's okay. We'll figure that out if we have to.
Right.
And make
as
those
we've-
choices.
we've had, sure, with other grants, I mean, we're able to a certain degree to schedule accordingly. The money's
Yes.
approved and we can
Mm.
figure out the capacity and
That's true.
priorities in what we do.
Very
Having the money lined up certainly makes the rest of the decisions easier. So are you here looking for a motion for one of us to approve this, or are we just going to?
Because you're not accepting anything, there's no contracts, we're not doing any of that. It could be as simple as you give us permission to at least submit these expressions of interest, for both, for one.
Well, Chair, I am personally in favor of submitting the expressions of interest for both of these initiatives listed, Bridge Street and the study of the Kia Brook.
I concur.
Okay, we'll get it done tomorrow.
I assume you do.
Absolutely.
Just checking. All right. Yeah.
Thank
Go
you.
for it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Covered them all?
That's it.
I think.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Where do I want to jump to now? Do we want to get Pete out of here next? We can.
I'd say, believe he has to work in the morning, so let's let him get a good night's sleep.
We kept him late enough the other night. Pete, what?
There are
I don't know what to
10,000
do with
there are
that, but-
10,000 people watching right now, so I'm not going to share my comment, Pete.
All right, come on up, Pete. We got a few for you, I think, here, so we'll pick them out. I'm going to come back to the discussion around the comprehensive permit app for the ZBA, but before I say that, do you have anything from the water side that you have for us as commissioners of concern about it, or no?
You're talking about the AMP?
The Care Drive comprehensive permit for.
No, I have no concerns with that.
Okay, thank you. Because if you did, we talk about, bring it up, we'll talk about them. But if you don't, we'll come back to it after for the board. Surplus equipment request, wastewater department POTW number 2, first read. We didn't get it until just split today, so I don't think I have anything yet. It's first read, but that's the spare one on your desk if you
Oh,
need
yeah,
to.
I actually read it electronically
Okay.
through the
Yeah.
email while I was enjoying a home-cooked meal. But anyways, yeah, when I read it over, I had no concerns with it.
How would we go about this as it's considered to likely have value? Is it still like a Macy bid process?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we, for that dollar value, you would do a legal ad, and we'd put it up for a bid site.
But we can still use this Macy bid and go
Yeah.
through all that. Just have to do the right advertisement.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, for a second read on the 10th. Okay.
You got it.
Yep.
I believe there was some discussion about it has to be removed probably with a crane.
That's my understanding, and so we're going to draft the advertisement, if you agree to surplus it, that it's to be removed at the cost of the bidder.
Right.
But you're right,
Should
it's
be in
going to
addition to the
require.
bid. That's their problem to get it out under our supervision properly.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Okay. All right, now I'm really done with it. Excuse me. Review the professional engineering services proposal for the water department asset management plan project from Ty and Bond. Number 13.
Thank you.
This is your follow-up.
So we got the grant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We talked about that in a prior meeting, and now we have the official proposal from Ty and Bond. Without having it in front of me, the 93 is the grant amount. I'm sorry. Is that?
I was going to say, could you refresh my memory on what the grant amount was?
Absolutely. Let me pull that back up.
Is that breakdown actually in the Ty and
It
Bond,
is.
like second page, I think? I was just looking back through it. So ours is just in kind.
We have two parts, and then there's the grant. So there is. Get the right page up in front of me. So you have a grant of $70,476. You have the cash appropriation that came from the voters at town meeting. That was $23,492. I believe they appropriated 25.
Exactly that? Okay.
But that's the matching component. And so the fee to Ty and Bond is the grant plus the cash appropriation from the voters. Then we have an in-kind of our staff time towards the project that is of equal amount at $23,492. And this is the exact same approach that we took on the AMP plan that we did for the wastewater department.
Okay. So that's why, yeah. So that's just showing their breakdown showing our in-kind work as well, but that's not a fee to them. That's our
Correct.
in-kind labor to support the grant process, the AMP project
Correct.
process.
And when we go to close out the project with Mass DEP, because this is a reimbursement grant like it was the last time, we have to demonstrate that we've met the 117,460, that aggregate amount at the bottom, which includes that in-kind match, or exceeded it.
Okay. Otherwise, we're on the hook for more cash or whatever
Correct.
to get there.
Correct.
Okay. All right. concerns? Anything that you saw in here, is it of concern?
No, not with this. The only one thing was the rate chart. Is that from FY '24, the rates?
I'm sure.
Okay,
So we're gonna have to update that.
right,
Yep. But if anything, that may assist.
right.
Yep. There's an example chart in there
Mm-hmm.
about how we track the staff time and attribute it to the project. And so there's a rate you can use. It's the hourly rate plus the fringe.
Okay.
And so, to Pete's point, that was based when we did the project back in '24 for the wastewater side. We need to update it to reflect the FY26 rates. So,
And under the timeline, this would have been proceeding 2 months ago, so are they pushing everything a little bit, or are they still going to squeeze it in-ish?
we're gonna move and get this done.
Okay.
We just got the notice to proceed last week. So,
No, I know, but
Yeah.
they had it in September on their timeline,
Agreed.
so,
Yep.
I don't know that that means we're really going to be doing site visits in a week.
probably not, but we
So-
will get moving.
But they're not concerned about hitting the timeline in general overall.
They haven't expressed any concerns about that.
Okay. Again, this is one of them, they tell us the grant's coming, and then they tell us what they can do to then
Right.
provide us the services the grant will pay them for.
Correct.
Somehow it'll get done on time.
It will get done on time.
Money's a great motivator.
What did you say about when it's easier when you have the money?
I think I did say that. All right.
Okay. No concerns about the staff time required, Pete, right?
No, we'll make it work.
It's
Not
the
a
theme
problem.
for tonight. Make it work. All right. I have no concerns.
Okay, in that case, I will make a motion to engage Ty and Bond Inc. for professional engineering services for the Erving Wastewater Department Asset Management Planning Project in the amount of $93,968.00 and authorize Brian Smith, Town Administrator, to execute all necessary agreements.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll do that tomorrow.
All right. Is that it for you tonight?
I think so. Water commitment, that's it, but that's usually
Yeah,
it.
but you don't.
Yeah,
I don't think we have any questions
no.
that need you for that. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back from the top. Good work.
Let's go.
All right. Discussion regarding comprehensive permit application for 5, 6, and 8 Care Drive and the request for feedback from the Zoning Board of Appeals. And the meeting on Wednesday?
Correct, 7 p.m.
Now, they're I guess as an aside, they were awarded their technical services grant, right, or funding for the technical services assistance for the 40B process.
That's correct.
So they will have that, and they have someone lined up already. So we're executing everything hopefully today, tomorrow, and then they'll be
Correct.
available to them on Wednesday for the process to start, or thereabouts.
Correct.
But this isn't something where they're going to be necessarily closing anything out in that short order. So
No.
we still have some time if we should come across or find
Agreed.
something that we missed along the way
Agreed.
before tonight.
Correct.
Was there anything that you saw on the plan at this point as a water commissioner? Any concerns?
I don't have any concerns at this time.
Okay, same. We'll probably bring it back on some frequency, just check in a little bit on it. A, how it's going, and then B, just to bring it back once or twice more probably when Selectman Bembry's here and if there's anything else that comes up.
Okay.
If
And
any
you-
of us do note anything, we can always just let you know and we'll get it on the agenda.
In your memo, you asked, or in the memo in your packet, I was trying to adjust the questions you asked at your last meeting. So to answer your first question, you're on zone 2 here, not zone 1. And we have requested the information on how much they anticipate the draw on the development to be on the water system. And we're just waiting for a response from the engineers. So I should have that by Wednesday. So I'll get that off to you all. And then I just pulled the last time you all issued a special permit for this property. It was for the library project, so I pulled those conditions in
Right.
case those felt relevant to this development.
And those are in the memo, right? I didn't get a chance to skim it. I skimmed it, but I didn't read it fully. Those are the what you listed in the memo, right?
Correct, it was
Yes.
just 3.
And we're waiting on the water volume information.
Correct. Yep, they're getting that from the civil engineers.
I think conditions-wise, the things that we had last time are just be straightforward, and obviously those. If there's more, we can always add, but I'd say let's forward that over to ZBA.
Okay.
Initially, as our, just in consistency with, what we've already done in that zone 2, we would want that as minimums.
Okay.
So I
can
guess
forward
our
that.
initial feedback for ZBA will be those.
Okay,
And we'll go from there.
you got it.
We'll let them know if we have more in the future.
Will do.
Thank you for putting those together.
Of course.
Review of the van driver position description and screening committee.
So, I believe I mentioned this in the past, in a previous meeting, that the Director of Senior Services and I met. We went over the job description. I know she had some follow-up questions. I believe she got the answers from.
I think she got some answers, and there was some more back and forth that was happening with FRTA.
Okay. But we were, in principle, in agreement on what we had. For the job description, I would say that if we don't have 100% of answers to our satisfaction, we carry a review of the job description to another meeting to review one last time to make sure that we have everything in alignment. But I think we can certainly do that and at the same time keep the wheels of progress moving by starting to form the committee and get it going.
Advertise or hold off on advertising till, are there, because I'm not sure
So
what the open items are, so I guess
so
it's really, do either of you know if
Yeah.
the director feels there's stuff that would be pertinent to what we're going to advertise, or just more to the formal
I think it could be
description?
pertinent. The
Okay.
question that's outstanding, the job has largely been per diem.
Right.
And the question, and I know you talked about changing the model at your last meeting. It sounds like all 3 of you are in support of that. Does that justify a regular part-time job as opposed to a per diem job?
Okay.
And so that could impact the applicant pool.
And has the hours question, or
That's
what?
the question.
That's really ultimately what funding there is for hours for that position
It
through the
was
program.
based on ridership in the past,
Mhm.
and there was a certain pay that was collected from every fare. It's been grant supported for several years now, really since 21. So, and it was extended one more year this year. So the question that was being asked is, will the grant funding support a set number of hours for this position? And so we're just looking to get the yes and that number is blank so that
Okay.
we can answer that question definitively for the 3 of you.
Okay. And then, especially if we are changing it to that, do we need to do anything with the language in the job description to ensure it's clear that it's a grant-funded position in case that doesn't continue and there isn't funding in the future?
It would resume to a fare-based system again, so demand on rides.
Okay. But if we establish it at some number of hours as part-time because there's
Mhm.
grant funding and then the grant funding falls off and the fares don't support that amount of hours, do we
Got
need any language in the job description that notes that it
It could change.
could change
Okay.
due to grant funding? Just grant funding right now is a volatile
Yeah.
topic
Yep.
in the country. So
And we've experienced this with other departments, so.
Yep. I will find that out for you all.
Okay. And even if it's just basic, one liner in there that says it subject to some change should the funding sources change. Doesn't mean it goes away, but it may change. Funded as in grant funded through June 30, 26.
That's the current approval by the FRTA Executive Board.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, we can carry it for next meeting. We'll carry it to the 10th.
Okay.
Most likely. If you find out sooner, you can let me know if we fit it on something else, if we do something sooner, or if we need to delay it further if they don't have the answers yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you want to appoint the screening committee today?
It sounded like we were eminently there. Sure.
Yeah.
I have no concerns.
Would you like to
I will.
I was going to say,
If
would you
you're
like to
on it,
make the
I'll
motion,
it.
or shall I appoint myself?
Either way, at the end of the day. A motion to establish a van driver position preliminary screening committee consisting of 3 members and to appoint Selectman James Lloyd, Dulcie McAndrews, Director, and Catherine Gaudet, Activities Coordinator, as the members.
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Review of the draft assistant town accountant position description. I don't recall any edits from our last discussion. A variety of comments and support and
Right.
questions about hours and all of that. Did we get some clarity on how much is fundable between the budgets?
Yes, well, depending
To
on
a
the
point.
number of hours, right? So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
met with the town accountant and went over the number of hours that she was anticipating, and obviously there would be certain weeks where there was additional work to be done, and other weeks that maybe less was necessary in her office, and more could go towards the administrative office. So on the low end, she was looking for approximately 10 hours of support, and on the higher end was 15 hours. So on the lower end, for the balance of the year, it'd be $8,900 approximately, and on the 15-hour week, it'd be the $13,400 approximately. In terms of what was put initially into the budget was an additional $7,000, I believe, into the accounting office budget for this fiscal year. And there's additional capacity in that budget from changes in some expense lines. So there's a little capacity in that office, and then if we are looking to have this position also support the budgeting and procurement out of the administration office, I can free up a few $1,000s from our expense lines.
So we had 7 in the accountant's budget for this
Yes,
and freed up another 1,000 or so just
approximately.
with some
Right,
expense adjustments. So we're at the 8 probably.
right,
And that's for the balance of the year, assuming a hire
correct.
halfway, so that's only half a year worth of it.
I know it won't happen for November 1st, but I just, for conservative sake, I started November 1st to the end of the
Okay.
year.
And then a few thousand in the administrative budget
Right,
gets us somewhere in the middle,
correct.
flexing some of those hours over to the admin side as the calendar year progresses. But
Right.
even if we did something in the middle, we're half there next year.
Right.
I feel like we're in that same conversation again. The work is there. What 10 to 15 a week? What is that envisioned as? Like a couple half days? Has it been envisioned? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that there is a need on the weeks that they're working together to process APs. So I think there'll be needs to work together on those Thursday, Friday periods when the town accountant's office is largely doing that work. Whether the other work for procurements and supporting departments happens on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, I think is still up to being, that's all up for discussion. It obviously needs to happen during the time that that the department heads are here and they can work on their projects for procurement in the office. So there's some flexibility in this. Whether that's 2 or 3 part-time days, that's the vision.
But you'd be able to manage that scheduling and the
Yeah.
workflow. And
Yep.
Any concerns or questions about the job description?
nothing that jumped out at me any more than the last time, which is, I think nothing new. Let's say. I did read through it last night. So no.
Do we need to set that, or are you guys going to put 10 to 15 hours a week and keep it flexible based on needs and funding, or do you need to set it? Are you guys going to, or do we need to set it?
I mean, ultimately, it's your decision.
Well, I meant for the hiring process. Can we leave it as a range and
Yeah, we can leave it as a
flexes?
range.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're comfortable with that.
Because I think sitting here deciding it's going to be 11 and a half hours a week seems silly if we
Yeah.
leave it
Yeah.
to
No.
you and the accountant to manage week to week, and overall we're within that window we can fund.
That's fine.
Excuse me.
It works for me.
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
I'm okay with 10 to 15. I think we probably could use 40, but
We
10
could.
to 15 for now.
I
Exactly.
was
Yeah,
gonna
that's
say,
what we
that's
can do right now. So
baby
just start
steps.
somewhere. Exactly. You want another read? You want to approve it?
I know that it delays it that much longer, but I wouldn't mind carrying it for one more read, just so Selectman Bembury has
Okay.
opportunity to provide input. He might have thoughts that we haven't thought.
Agreed. So why don't we plan on coming up with a screening committee recommendation for next meeting, and we'll do a final read. I'm not concerned if you want to queue up an ad and get it going, either before or right after, because I don't think we're going to make that significant of a change that it'll be an issue.
Okay.
And I'm comfortable that 10 to 15 is what we've decided. And if there's some tweaks to the job description, they're probably going to be minor. So I'll leave it up to you and the accountant on timing to get the ad up. Obviously, we won't close it till after, but for next review. I think with
You got
budget
it.
coming up and everything else, the sooner we can onboard somebody, the better too.
Agreed.
Agreed.
So concurrently is fine with me, but I'm fine with carrying the
Yep.
final read on the job description for next meeting.
Okay.
I think classification and everything made sense based on our last review for me. So
Okay. Thank you.
If there's nothing substantive on the 10th, you can roll this out on the 12th. The 11th is a holiday.
11th will be a holiday. Exactly.
oh, look at you.
What's that?
At least look at you. You're on that. I wasn't. Yep.
Banker's hours, don't you know?
Okay. Next, review meeting minutes. September 23rd and October 14th, 2025.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of September 23rd, 2025 as written.
I will
Select
sec-
Board Water Commissioners meeting minutes of September 23rd.
I will second that. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I will make a motion to approve the Select Board Water Commissioners meeting minutes from Tuesday, October 14th, 2025 as written.
We'll second that. Discussion on those. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Review and issuance of the 7th water commitment for FY26.
I did have a question on this. In the,
1 second. Where is it? There it is. Got it. Okay.
in the first paragraph, it says we're authorized to levy and collect on $584.51. In parentheses, it says $43.27. And
It's
then the
very much $43.27, and that should be corrected.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the 7th water commitment for fiscal '26 as amended in the amount of $43.27.
I will second that.
Any other discussion?
None.
Anything else that we needed to modify? It was just those words, right? Oh, wait, no. Yes, because there's the past due, just
Yes.
to clarify,
Yes.
Yeah.
is not past due.
No.
It's something with our software, which is why it's highlighted. So it says total due 207, but it's not. It's the 4327.
Right.
And so those fees don't really exist.
Yeah.
The past due fees.
And that's what I got out of reading that. So.
Okay. Just making sure. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. A review and potential appointment for the Zoning Board of Appeals vacancy. Right now we have 2 full members and 1 associate. It's established with 3 and 2 associate.
That's correct.
We have a letter of interest from Craig Kosmeskis
Yeah.
to serve. Did I hear he attended the last meeting?
That's correct.
Okay.
He was present for the entire hearing.
And should be able to, therefore, be active in voting throughout this process, should we appoint him? For the,
Council has
We
given
believe-
that opinion,
okay,
and we've informed the applicant that a letter of interest came in
Okay.
and asked if they had any concerns or objections to that. We haven't heard back that they have concerns, but assuming you all make an appointment tonight, Chairman Hammack is prepared to address that on Wednesday with the applicant at the start of the meeting.
okay,
But this would get you up to 3 full members and 1 alternate, so all 4 can hear the full testimony.
right,
To be clear, no testimony has been taken other than introductions.
right. And I know it's gonna be a lengthy process and it's complex and, there's a lot of stipulations about attendance and membership and all of that, so.
Correct.
Craig would be able to partake, we believe, and through the whole process as long as the rest of it was followed, so
Correct.
I have no concerns.
No, I have no concerns, and I appreciate people stepping up and getting involved.
Likewise.
So if there's no others, I will make a motion to appoint Craig Kosmeskis as a full member of the Zoning Board of Appeals beginning October 27th, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2028.
I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion regarding preparation for the meeting with Senator Comfort on the 10th. That's 6:30 to 7?
6:30 to 7.
Okay. Obviously, we already discussed health insurance as being a big topic. Others that came to mind?
Yes, and I'm drawing a blank.
While you're thinking on that, Brian, anything from the staff or yourself that has surfaced as something that
So we brought
critical
this.
we'd like to be brought up? Or?
We brought this to the staff meeting. I'm gonna send out one final reminder for folks to get you those requests. I didn't receive any formally in writing today.
Okay.
I know Chief Wonka did bring up at the last meeting that there is a request from the police chiefs, the fire chiefs, who are involved with EMS on service provision, and there was a question about shifting, and I will screw this up, so I'm not going to go too deep into this, but shifting the oversight of EMS at the state level from one department to another department to ensure that there's more attention to funding and resource allocation, things of that nature. So he has a very specific, nuanced question that he would like to get the senator's response to, but it also would like to get the support from the select board on. So I'll make sure I get that for you.
I believe in the last joint advisory meeting for Northville UMass, It also came up that they're not considered essential in the state, I believe, EMS.
I don't know if essential is the correct word.
Maybe that's not the correct word.
I do
Thought I
know
saw
that
this.
Chief has indicated in the past that from a statutory standpoint, there are obviously some services that are required for a town to provide, and there's other services that may be desired but not required, and that EMS can fall into that latter category. That it could be provided by a for-profit corporation. It could be provided in a different way. It's not necessarily a town service that must be provided. I don't know what the rhyme or reason is behind that statutory division, and I don't know if that's on the verge of being changed. I think we've all experienced the market challenges that make private EMS services a challenge in Western Massachusetts. So
I just looked it up real quick, and they are non-essential in the state of Massachusetts. Police
Oh,
and
there you
fire
go.
are essential. EMS is not considered essential, and
So
it affects
apparently that
funding
is the
and all
right
kinds of
term.
other things.
Yep.
Which means that, regardless of how you source it, it affects funding for Northfield EMS and all the private probably as well. So, it raised a flag for me when I heard it. I hadn't brought it back to the board yet. It made me think of it with this conversation coming up, and maybe let Chief Noda send me some stuff on what he's talking about with the
Okay.
oversight. And if you're okay with it, based on that feedback, I'll after I've reviewed it, if it makes sense to bring up with her while we're here, I'll add it to the list.
Yes, add it to the list, because I wholeheartedly disagree with that designation as not essential.
agreed.
So do I.
The only person that could make that designation is somebody who's been fortunate enough to never need it.
You would think. Yeah,
I did.
probably looked dumbfounded to the group and asked 3 times when we were there because I couldn't
Excuse me,
believe it.
what?
Yeah. Wait, what?
Um,
Anyhow. Did the other thing come to
The
mind?
other thing did come to mind. I did a search of my email. On October 1st, we did receive notice from Senator Comerford's office regarding our Housing Works infrastructure program. And I don't know if we have sent any acknowledgement of appreciation, if it might be worth,
Not yet.
not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, not yet.
Mm,
Did I did see she sent something over, I believe you forwarded over about the SNAP funding as well.
I did.
And I don't know that she'll have anything further than what she sent in that message, but I guess if we want to let them know if they do have something more to add, I think it'd be good to hear. I was,
Did you see the counts? That
yeah, that's a significant percentage of our constituents.
I
That,
thought so too.
I mean, it's
I had not seen that data before.
15-20%
Yeah.
of our citizens
Yeah.
are impacted by that, and it doesn't look like any kind of state funding could go very far at all to bridge the gap.
I've been starting to follow some of the updates that are coming out, and I know that one.
Maybe just for those watching, because I'm saying
Right.
it and we read the email, but SNAP funding was not funded while the government during the government shutdown, and it's government funded.
It's federally funded.
Federally, yeah.
Yep.
I should say federal government funded. And so right now, there's no funding for it, and it's expected to run out at the end of the month. And there'll be no SNAP funding for November, I believe, correct?
Starting November 1, the
Yeah.
current appropriations will expire.
Right.
So
So,
to your point, I don't see state funding at this point, significant state funding that
Sure.
would be able to make that up. And so they were letting communities know that we may have residents that will be impacted, and that's where the counts that we received last week are coming from. There's not a lot of guidance about what to do in the in-between moments, and we don't know how long this may or may not last. But I do know that they're trying to advocate, or at least try to bring more awareness to resources like the Western Mass Food Bank and other food service provision agencies in the area. So we can certainly do our best to make those connections for our residents. I did notify department heads, like obviously here at the Senior and Community Center, at the library, other department heads who may interact with residents who may be looking for guidance or have questions. So we can certainly do resource referrals.
and the elementary school's on there as well, right?
I had the elementary school in there, and I don't know the exact number, and I need to ask for a little more guidance, but there is a correlation with our USDA funding for the food that's served in the cafeteria, so I need to understand that as well.
A correlation in lack of funding and timing?
Our
you mean?
eligibility for funding is tied to our population, our demographics, and so we have certain residents who meet a certain demographic that allow us to qualify for certain financial assistance, and that impacts our lunch program, or it has at least in the past. I don't know what the current funding this year is, so I need to ask and better understand what that potential impact is.
Well, this won't change their eligibility. So your question is just, is that funding impacted by the shutdown as well?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had counts on that document. We didn't have aggregate funding amounts on a monthly basis in there or anything, did we? That I missed? I don't think so.
There's several tabs on that workbook. I didn't
Okay.
see that tab on there, but I can go back and double check.
I was just wondering. We have a rough idea on how many citizens are affected, but not on how much funding that is a month or on whatever, frequency, just to have some idea. Not that we can do anything necessarily, but to understand that dollar impact too.
Okay.
In total, obviously, we're not talking individual information.
Okay.
It's probably adjacent to, or maybe Comptroller's office can give us that if it's not in there.
Okay.
Other topics for the discussion right now?
No.
I know there's been a lot of work around funding for infrastructure. And so, if there's any new highlights there, that's another area that would be good. I mean, we're always talking about more projects on infrastructure and bridges and such. So if she has more updates, I know there's been a lot of stuff that she's sent out. So if it's nothing new, I don't want to, just redo what she's already sent out in newsletters. But and then, I guess if you're comfortable with it, if something comes up from the departments in between, again, I know we have 30 minutes and we don't want to give her some time if she has something she wants to bring as well. So
Right.
I'm sure we've just talked about more than 15 or 20 minutes worth of stuff. So
I'm gonna say. Yep.
Do we want to try to prioritize our list? Because that 30 minutes will go fast if we...
I think if you have one that you really want to spend your time on, we can certainly draw attention to that. But her team comes prepared, and they prepare well in advance. So I think even if they get a long list, I think they will come with the information and/or send it in advance, so that the senator can maximize her time with you. And certainly, if there's anything out of the discussion that the three of you have with the senator that leads to more follow-up, they have always followed up in the past. So.
I don't have any preference on it. I guess it would just be you can send those over, and then also if they had things they were planning to bring as well.
Yep.
Finding a balance there. If there's too many, then you and I can go through that. They probably all have their priority for different reasons, so it's kind of hard to say one is stronger than the other. And lastly, I guess it'd be good to leave 5 to 10 minutes for questions, back and forth at the end.
I'll just say I remain hopeful that the SNAP benefit issue will be resolved by the end of this week.
Me too.
Being
nice.
hopeful doesn't get you a lot.
Hopefully it's better than relying on the weather in New England.
It's easy. It's easier when you have the money, right? But
Absolutely.
so that might be a non-factor. I doubt the health insurance issue will be solved by then. So that is like a priority item for me. But I understand what you're saying, and I agree that the senator and her office may have things they want to discuss. So we should leave room for that.
Agreed.
And we have a joint at 7, but I would make sure to let
You schedule it for 7:30, just in case.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm glad I was thinking that last time. But we should let them know that starts at 6:30, and they're welcome to sit for that as well and partake, both finance and capital. I think, did we invite capital already for that night? I can't
Yes.
recall. We did? It's all 3? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think they're welcome to sit at 6:30 as well and join us for that. Find out if they do wish to, so we can put it as a join for all. We'll start it at 6:30 instead, if they do.
I will make that request.
So I guess that's what we'll go with for now. Okay.
You got it.
All right. And I'll firm up with you and Chief Wonka on the EMS piece.
I'll send the
Yeah,
communication
And then
tonight
we'll
so we can start
get that over to them. Did they want that by sometime this week, I assume, conference office?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
okay.
can send it by Wednesday. That'd be
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, we should be able to do that. Okay. And I attended the GIC call today. I'm assuming you guys did too. There was a call that Comfort and others had gotten with Lieutenant
Oh, okay.
Governor regarding health insurance today that they had. Unless you feel differently from what you heard, I don't think reiterating what that was about is a good use of her time while she's here, because we partook in it and it wasn't significantly.
Right.
I don't think it'd be significant to the board to hear that.
High level,
Recap.
should we at least let?
Sure, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
Talking in code over here. It's not really. It's just,
Dying to
it
know
was
what we're
mostly
talking
about
about.
GIC and stringing out some trailing off
Right.
costs if you change over more than one fiscal year that they're trying to get legislation through for.
They're looking at passing special legislation. So for those towns that do want to make a transition from the Hampshire Group Insurance Trust to, say, GIC, there may be an opportunity to amortize those
Right.
costs over maybe a 5-year period. So it's not money, it's not a loan. It would allow us, similar to the snow removal expenses, to carry that cost on our
Operating
Schedule
deficit.
A, and we'd work in a small deficit, be using our money over that period of time to pay that off. So I think it's great for the communities who are interested in pursuing that path. By no means are they trying to steer everybody towards the GIC. It's just an opportunity. The Lieutenant Governor was on the call. There were questions about this looming December 1st deadline to get even in the queue for GIC. And the Lieutenant Governor was going to double check on to whether or not there was any flexibility there, but also reiterated there's a reason that there's a December 1st deadline because of the lead time you need to get in ready for open enrollment. And there's also some community members of the Group Insurance Trust, probably because of their small size, that are having trouble getting their claim information. So it can be hard to go and shop for other opportunities. So to your point,
Us included.
I don't think it's a great use, like you said, for the senator to reiterate all of that. The one thing they are looking at is to see, could that option be available this year if the special legislation is passed? And it sounded like everybody on the call was hopeful that it will be passed. Would it be this year, next year that a town makes that decision? You choose your year that you're making the transition, and then you can begin that 5-year amortization of that cost. So,
Okay, so we're back to EMS.
So it and I think it was Maya's and the other carriers were on there as well, and they were advising you can direct negotiate with carriers as well. But it was more of like what they have developed and what they have on the desk for, I think it's at the governor's desk now for that special legislation
yeah,
to be able to string that changeover cost out if people are rushing to do that. But it really isn't a solution. It's just another couple tools to get there if you need to make a change. So.
And I should just mention, not that they got into, because this was not the sales pitch about one provider over another, but GIC has seen double-digit increases in all of that is unfortunately the norm this year is double-digit increases. I think with the Hampshire group it was the more extreme version, but it's not because the others are not experiencing significant increases as well. But they did ask if there's any insights as to what the FY27 rates will be, and that, obviously nobody had that crystal ball.
Except
So.
that they were going up.
Other than they may go up again. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a question about whether or not you could only change if you could negotiate better rates, and that wasn't a stipulation.
Correct.
Although it almost sounded like they didn't necessarily think you even could.
Correct.
Didn't sound like. So if
Didn't
it's
seem
not
it.
cheaper, then I'm not clear on what the
Exactly.
drivers are.
Why would you negotiate worse rates?
Okay, stability. I mean, I don't want to
I think it'd
presume
be-
why.
right.
Stability, less risk, less volatility year over year. I don't know. I'm throwing out ideas because that one surprised me when I heard
Yeah.
that too. Again, it depends on what plans and what's negotiated and all that. So who knows?
Right.
Anyway, but adjacent for sure to the discussion with Senator Comfort, but our team obviously was there, heard it, and not not earth-shattering, like here's a great plan win or some funding or something to help. So
No magic pill.
no magic pill. Tools, options, but nothing magic.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll let her know that we're at least aware and don't need to spend time on that one probably.
Okay.
Next is review the requested amendment for creditable service for vacation leave first read. So there was a question brought up at one point regarding recognizing time in our vacation policy
Mm-hmm.
served prior to employment here
Mm-hmm.
or in other municipal context. Section 14. And so this is something that council had provided, some red lines that would be their recommendation for what allowing that would look like
Could look like, yeah.
if we want to. So this isn't a yes we will, it's a what would the language look like in our policy if we did consider it. So first it's here's the language for review, first read, and then ultimately does the language make sense and is it something we would want to do in that way?
Correct.
So my fatigue is setting in, and I'm trying to remember the past conversations on that and see if this.
We haven't had one. This is the first conversation.
I thought we
I
did.
believe.
Why am I?
There was an ask
Mm-hmm.
if we would.
Okay.
I think during the hiring process of in the last year, give or take,
Yep.
is time spent in other municipal or prior employment considered at all in terms of bringing someone in on the vacation table rather than starting at the bottom.
Okay.
This would
There
be
it
some
is.
language that allows some discretion,
Mm-hmm.
solely our discretion, to adjust, and the recommendation is up to an additional week. Above and beyond what the normal policy would allow for a new hire. And then
Okay.
it would be the base from there on to grow from.
Correct. Right.
And that is the way I'm reading this, is it just would allow discretion to go from 80 to 120
Mm-hmm.
the first year.
Right.
And that additional 40 would just be tacked on at every interval.
Let me double check that.
Is that how that reads? I think as I'm reading that, I don't know if it's clear if it carries forever, if it's only in the first year,
We
the
need to
first
make that
1 to
clarification.
4. I'm not passing an opinion right at the moment, but if we're going to have it tack on forever, then the last one falls off in that clause as well. I don't think they get more vacation in the end than anyone else. It's just that they get it sooner. Or maybe it falls off after the first 5, and it's really just for the first 8 they get 120, or up to
Right.
120. So I think we'll have to sort that out as well. Any other right now questions? I know it's really first read around it.
Let me get you some clarity on how that could work.
Or if there's a recommendation or there was an intent there that I'm missing in the language.
Mm-hmm.
Questions before we carry it?
No.
Okay. We'll carry it for the 10th.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Review of compensation rate for the cadet position appointee. So we made the offer, but before the offer was given in writing, there was a question brought up about the rate that we voted on, referencing transfer or demotion language in the policy.
So, my thoughts on this, the way I interpret transfer and demotion, those are mechanisms that are usually driven by management. And I think this language speaks to that. If management chooses to activate one of those levers, this is, the result. In this particular case, I don't see this as a management action. I see this employee taking a self-initiated reassignment to another department. So I don't think this language applies here. The best analogy I could come up with is in my particular daytime employment, I hold a role as an officer of the organization and have a salary commensurate with that. If I were to decide to change from the department I work in now and go to, say, I no longer want to work in security, I want to go work as an entry-level teller. The bank would not pay me my vice president's salary for an entry-level role to begin to understand that with no real, the only thing I know about what the tellers do is I know the difference between a deposit and a withdrawal. So in this particular case, I don't see where that language is applicable, and I stand behind the motion I made.
I concur. To me, that language is meant to protect an employee or give them some something to rely on or fall back to should we or the appointing authority have to make some transfer or change because of the needs and the skills, etc., or a demotion. To me, this is candidate applied for a different job. It's not something we initiated. It's not a transfer, and they're not appointed in their job right now, so we couldn't transfer them, even if we wanted to, because we didn't appoint them. So while we appoint the new position, we have no bearing on the other one other than as voters. So I agree with you, and I think, as an aside, at some point we should probably revisit the tables for that position, because this is meant to be like a path to becoming an officer, so I don't expect that we would have someone in those roles for more than a step or two, maybe three.
Right, I don't
Because we would hope they would be going to the academy, or that it is not a fit and we'd be starting the process over. So I don't see how, I don't know why we have that table at 10 steps, is I guess what I'm getting at for that community
agree.
services grade.
No,
Either
you're
way.
right. This is an entryway for somebody who doesn't have any training or background or experience in the law enforcement profession, somebody that does not yet know what the difference is between a violation of 265.13A versus 265.13M.
Me. Yeah, exactly. I agree. And yeah,
There are a number of different things, and while I give all due credit to anybody that wants to enter into this profession and what it undertakes, this is an opportunity to become prepared for the first step,
Right.
which is entrance to the academy.
Right.
It is certainly, not as you said, this is something where, if somebody were to stay in this position for a year, I would be surprised.
agreed. I could see it breaking over a fiscal year, so there'd be a step change.
Sure.
And I could see, the only other scenario I could see when I was just pondering the table at the same time that there was even 10 steps was since post now and bridging and all that, if there was a prior part-time officer who didn't bridge, for example, they are not now eligible. They would still have to go to the academy, but they do bring experience, so maybe should that be something they wanted? That's the only other way I could get beyond step one. But again, maybe step two. So
what
I just, that's a separate topic to kind of maybe bring that back at some point and adjust it in the future, because it doesn't necessarily make sense, I think, and this highlights that. But
I do agree with that.
the policy doesn't apply to this, as far as I'm concerned either. What I would say is, I do feel, because we had this outstanding question and haven't resolved it, as well as we had noted that there was some pending items with the union relative to this position that had to be resolved, that we do need to push out the date of hire on the offer. So since we're here, so we had it as November 3rd. Based on everything going on and the pending negotiations, I think something later November, 1st of December is kind of where we are probably at this point. Unless you've heard otherwise, I think December 1st is probably, because the holidays the week before and such, unless think something sooner.
Did you say December or no?
I said December 1st.
Okay.
Didn't I?
I couldn't. That's
Okay,
what I
sorry.
was-
December 1st, I think,
Okay.
because of the holidays late in November and knowing that there's another, couple weeks probably of discussions that need to have before we're done with the union piece, unless, either of you if you feel otherwise.
Well, my thought on that was, you mentioned the holidays. I'm thinking there's another whole pile of holidays coming right behind that. So would it make sense to go January 1 to have the time for all of this to get those negotiations hammered out, make sure we have time, get any of the pre-employment stuff necessary? I don't know if that's been started yet.
It has. We can do that, and we can do or sooner, which we usually do. And then if things are sorted out, it can be as soon as they are. Or we can do sooner, and if we had to push it again, we can push it again. We're kind of in the same spot we were when we first did this, and I said, do we want to say it's pending, or do we want to put a date on it? So I'm indifferent. If you want to make a motion for what you feel is right, I'm fine with it.
All right, so we need a new motion.
I mean, I think we should, yeah, because the last one has been sitting kind of waiting for this discussion, and we know now it's only a few days away, and we're not ready.
We're
to do the
not
third,
ready yet.
so.
Okay, well, then, that being said, I will make a motion to appoint Jennifer Wetruba as the Community Services Cadet at a starting pay rate of grade NP1, Step 1 at $18.21 an hour, regularly scheduled 40 hours per week, with a 1-year probationary period pending a pre-employment medical screening and query check with a tentative start date of what day of the week is that?
Monday.
It is a Monday? Monday, December 1st, 2025,
Or sooner.
or sooner.
I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Review and approval of treasury warrants.
This keeps shrinking down in size every time I change topics.
It's because of that
Yeah,
The
bridge
wide
report.
document.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the 10th accounts payable warrant for fiscal '26 in the aggregate amount of $480,725.58 as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And as excuse me, as authorized by the select board, I've approved the following payroll warrants, and I'm reporting as such. The 5th payroll warrant for FY26 in the aggregate amount of $233,210.05, and the 5th payroll benefits warrant in the aggregate amount of $36,994.15, both on September 11th, 2025. The 7th payroll warrant for FY26 in the aggregate amount of $235,078.19, and the 7th payroll benefits warrant in the aggregate amount of $38,482.60, both dated October 9th, 2025. And finally, the 8th payroll warrant for FY26 in the aggregate amount of $239,128.54, and the 8th payroll benefits warrant in the aggregate amount of $82,989.86, both dated October 23rd, 2025.
I will no, that doesn't
That's
require.
just, yes, no. And then I have one more tonight. Those don't require it. FYI, those are what I've signed as authorized. And then we have the special payroll warrant 8. Is that what we're calling this one? Oh, wait, no, that's different. General spec. Is that, will you pass it to him? Is that the right title for that one? I'll do this one while you're looking at that. Then we have the special payroll warrant 102725 for fiscal 26 in the aggregate amount of $907.06. I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Should that just be a special PR as well?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a different date than the most recent one. It's got the 27th issuance date. So yeah,
It's the same, right? The
Yeah.
1027? Okay.
same concept.
Got it. That's all right. I just wanted to make sure before I read it. And I'll make a motion that we approve the special payroll warrant, benefits warrant 102725 in the amount of $135.36.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I believe that was all of the business for tonight. Did I miss anything?
Mm-mm.
All right. With that, we'll have a meeting likely between now and the 10th, which will tentatively the 3rd or 4th, and we'll firm that up once we get feedback from Wendell. And I'll be scheduling some executive session coming up as well, but I'll keep you posted on that.
Okay.
And that is all I have for tonight. Anything else, Brian, for you? Motion to adjourn at 8:45 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.